their assurances that he is what they think he is. Because I don't think he is what they think he is. I think he's something far more sinister than that. And I think you share that with me. And I'm going to send you, Mark, my thesis, my treatise on this. Actually, it is a treatise on this. It's Government Zero. But when I think about it, my entire treatise is about the alliance between the leftists and the Islamists, leading us to Government Zero, no borders, no language, no culture. And I do sound the alarm about how progressives and radical Islamists are working together to destroy Western civilization and remake it in their own respective insane images. And that's what I spend 300 and some odd pages doing with references. And I think that any thinking person would want to analyze the opposition's position, and there's no better place to examine my position than in this book. So there we are. Nice day before Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're still a day away from the day before, and we were supposed to just cruise into it today and easy. Everyone was going to do jingle bells. I could have played Christmas music. Most of America's already traveling. I would suppose my audience is smaller today than it would have been normally. But I am like the restaurant you go into that even on an off day, everything on the menu is available to you today. I offer a full menu and have a full staff. So if you care to call the program with your opinion of what's going on in the world, the phone number is 855-400-7282. Let's go to the callers. WABC, Dean, what's on your mind? Go ahead, please, from New York City.
Hello. Yes, I'd like to say that Vladimir Putin is a fierce nationalist, and that's the reason why Obama, like you say, Obama doesn't like him or wants to provoke him. Obama is a globalist, and they want the dissolution of all nations, and they're on a...
I don't actually agree with that. I think that sorry to use, I'm not trying to be snooty or too intellectual, but I think that analysis is too narrow. I don't believe that's because Erdogan's a nationalist as well, and he's on the side of Erdogan. Erdogan is a sort of Muslim extremist. On the surface, he isn't. He's a Westerner, but he isn't. He has provoked Islamism within Turkey. Turkey was once a very advanced progressive nation, in the best sense of the word progressive. Women's rights, women's suffrage. Turkey was an extremely advanced nation. Erdogan has been pulled further and further into the madness of radical Islam, and some are calling him a neo-Ottoman. Neo-Ottoman. And again, I don't want to make the same bad joke as I did before, but the Ottoman doesn't refer to a hassock. It doesn't refer to something you put your foot on. It refers to a period in time when the Turks, frankly, did use hassocks. I guess they're interchangeable words, Ottoman and hassock, isn't it? But you don't call it the hassock empire. I mean, if you look in your history book, it's the Ottoman Empire, not the hassock empire, now that I think about it. So there may be a big difference between an Ottoman and a hassock. I'll have to go to a furniture store over the weekend and see. Can I have an Ottoman? And can you show me your hassocks, please? You can get killed now in a furniture store. What if you go in a furniture store owned by a Muslim and you say to him, can I see your Ottomans? The guy could pull out a knife and okay, I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. Many of us are under the illusion that we actually have a republic or a democracy, and that if only we get the Republicans in, we'll be better off. Very good fantasy. That would be a nice start. It'd be like window dressing. But let me tell you something. There are governments within our government. For example, the ACLU today sued a state that wants to block refugees. Now, who elected Marvin from NYU as a branch of government? Did you elect this left-wing fanatic with a law degree to be another branch of government? These unelected vermin, these lawyers? No, you never elected the ACLU, and yet they have more power than Congress does, threatening a governor with a lawsuit. Now let's go to another government within a government. Me, if I were president, I would declare the ACLU a domestic terrorist organization. I would arrest their entire leadership. I would put all their assets into a bank, etc., and I'd go from there. I will tell you something else, if you'd like to know about it, because I don't like unelected governmental agencies controlling the destiny of my nation. And I'll go a step further. There are organizations that are making a fortune off the refugees. They care nothing about the integrity of our nation. They care nothing about the future of our nation. They care nothing about the future of our children. They could care less. All they care about is stealing money right now. Now, here's an organization called Exodus Refugee. They're in charge of a lot of the Syrians coming in. Now, who are they? Board of Directors, President Susan Hutchins, never heard of her. Vice President Deb Hurt, never heard of her. Secretary Michelle Cesana, never heard of her. Treasurer Amanda Wagner, never heard of her. But listen to the types of organizations that they, structures that they, listen to their structure. Executive Director, Director of Operations, Director of Client Services, that would be the Syrian Muslims. Director of Immigration Services and Community Outreach, Megan Hochbein. Director of Extended Case Management, Bethany Showalter. Director of Development and Communications, Elizabeth Standiford. Finance Director, Amy Russell. It gets even better. Now, who's paying for all of these positions? This, remember, is an organization that's not even a part of the government, that's set up now as a government within a government. Reception and placement programs, resettlement coordinator, Essence Vincent, pre-arrival associate, lead case manager, special medical case manager, Zhao Wing Ong, special medical case manager, Salma Mohiddin. Oh, really? Health navigator, Nicole Kamana. Case manager, Claire Lundergan. Case manager, Bawi Bawi. Case manager, Leslie Masikot. Case manager, Zi Zhang Zhua. Case manager, Mohammed Hashi. Housing manager, James Boudin. Housing specialist, Timothy Haynes. Now, I'm not saying anybody here is doing anything illegal, but they seem to have an entire governmental-like structure set up for the Syrian refugees, and none of these people are appointed by elected officials. It gets even bigger. Where's all this money coming from? Look at all these employees feasting off the refugees. Employment developer, Chris Russell. Lead employment specialist, Yaza Zwe. Employment specialist, Van Ro Sung. Employment specialist, Ali Haddad. State grant coordinator, Cam Lam Hui. State grant and human trafficking coordinator, Erin Aquino. Well, you get the picture. Women's program case manager, cultural orientation specialist, El Corps coordinator, full-time drivers, Fung Mang and Ti Hua. Part-time drivers, Sui Min Chua, Tu Lum La Tri, Chuan Bor. Part-time drivers. Supportive programs. The list goes on and on. So who are these people? Well, they're bringing in, they're organizing the importation of the Muslims from Syria under Obama. What is my point? My point is that none of these individuals are appointed by my duly elected representatives, nor of your duly elected representatives. They are a government within a government. They are driving policy in this country. They are what is known as lobbyists. When you hear the government is corrupt, when you hear that our corrupt government is driven by lobbyists, not by the people's wishes, well, now you know there's a face to it. They may call themselves the Exodus Refugee Immigration Services. They may call themselves Catholic Charities or Lutheran Charities. But my friends, none of them are elected. None of them answer to us. Every one of them is a rogue agency in it only for their own selves. And guess who suffers? Suffer the little children. They will be living in a world in which they will be as stranger. Obama will remake this nation so that your children will live in a world in which they themselves have become a stranger because of this strange man in the White House. All spelled out in over 300 pages with references in Government Zero, a book I am extremely proud of. I suggest you get one for Christmas.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Turkey, like every country, has a right to defend its territory and its airspace. I think it's very important right now for us to make sure that both the Russians and the Turks are talking to each other, find out exactly what happened, and take measures to...
All right, yeah, turn it over. Yeah. Oh, he's right. He's pulled the wool over the eyes of every thinking person in the world. Find out what happened. We don't know what happened. We don't know that you told Turkey to pull a trigger, to shoot down a Russian jet, in order to provoke a Russian reaction, in order for you to suddenly blow the whistle on NATO and then go to war with Russia. That's all. Welcome to Hour 3. It's that simple. Your leader is more actively pursuing a war against Western values and against Russia than he is against ISIS, is my opinion. He is on the wrong side of history. Unless he knows something I don't know, and God forbid he's right. Because if he's right, we're all going to suffer. Because I'll tell you one thing, the Islamists are not going to like you progressives very much. In fact, they may like you less than they like us conservatives. Because we at least stand for something. You stand for nothing. Progressives have no values. Their only values are narcissism. And if it feels good, do it. No borders, no language, no culture. That's what nihilists stand for. So I asked the question, was Obama behind the shoot down of the Russian jet and of the helicopter searching for the downed pilots? Go to the London Daily Star, which is linked on the top of michaelsavage.com. Read the London Daily Star. Look at the markings on the TOW missile weapon used to shoot down the rescue helicopters. And then say to yourself, wait a minute, how did these Turkomen get their hands on these TOW missiles? Ask John McCain. He gave them to them. John McCain gave the weapons to them. Who gave them to them? Would they buy them in Walmart? In Berlin? They were given to him by the United States of America with John McCain behind it all as a messenger boy. I realize this is too much for us to handle. Now that NATO has shot down a Russian jet, here comes the real issue. How will Putin respond? Huh? So far, not much. They moved a missile cruiser off the coast of Syria, which was there anyway, and they gave it orders, though. The new orders are, you know what the new orders are? New orders from Putin are shoot any target that's a threat. I don't know what that means. Any target. Order to destroy any target posing danger. Go to the Drudge Report right now. Oh, finally there's an ad for my book on the top of the Drudge Report at the same time. Been asking for it for weeks. All right, there it is. New York Times bestseller. Everyone is talking about government zero, no borders, no language, no culture. Buy now, save America. Well, it arrived finally, better late than never. But here it is. U.S.-backed rebels down Russian helicopter. Anti-tank gun was American. Kills Russian Marine. Jet pilots machine gun as descender with parachutes. Allahu Akbar. Moscow denies airspace violation. Puts out own flight path image. Putin says stab in our back. NATO is now serving the Islamic State. That's what Putin's saying. NATO will now become a shield for the Islamic State. You hear this? And Obama told the Russians they got what they deserved. Meanwhile, the NATO chief, who was some clown altogether, sided with Turkey. World War III is now trending on Twitter. In between lipstick, pictures of lipstick and behinds and fashions, they're worrying about World War III because it really can ruin a girl's day. It could be a really bad hair day if World War III, evolves. Terrible thing. And what's Obama's new terror plan? He has none. His new terror plan is there is no terror. We're gonna beat them. If you watch the press conference, you would cringe how bad it was. He talked about kissing Michelle in the Luxembourg Gardens. Unto itself, I would say that was a yuck moment. But for a president to say that at a meeting with the leader of France, when they're talking about an attack on Paris, an attack on Mali, calling them a JV squad, then say, here's a travel warning yesterday, nowhere is safe. Day before he says, don't be afraid of anything. Do whatever you want. Run your life the way it normally is. The next day he says, wherever you go, be very afraid. Nowhere is safe. So there we are. That's the world you're living in. The man doesn't know what he's doing from one minute to the next.